Hello, and welcome to Friendship, Wellness, and Wisdom with your hosts, Heather and Rachel.
Together, we're here to talk about all things self-care, from fitness to mindfulness and everything in between.
Whether it's yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates, or practices like tapping and meditation, we're here to help you discover new ways to care for yourself.
We'll also share tips on positive self-talk, finding time for self-care, and creating routines that stick.
We're here to provide you with plenty of tips, tricks, and unsolicited life advice.
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Join our community, and together we can explore the path to wellness.
Today we're exploring the feelings of safety and security, where they truly come from, and how to cultivate them in our everyday lives. We will talk about how to move away from relying on external influences and how to develop practices that help us cultivate true inner safety and security. This is based on a blog that Rachel had wrote that we'll be posting on 5 Minutes for Peace.
Yeah. So, just want to kind of get into like what a true sense of security is and where it comes from. And basically, that's always going to come from within you, right? So, a true sense of safety and security comes from within, rooted in a strong sense of self-worth, self-confidence, and trust in your abilities to navigate through life's challenges. Okay. It involves having healthy relationships, a stable environment, and the ability to set and maintain boundaries. Emotional resilience and the ability to adapt to changes also contribute to your feelings of safety and security. So, through self awareness, inner strength, and understanding that while external factors can influence our sense of security, our true security lies in how we perceive and respond to the world around us. So we're going to go through some questions and answers, just kind of like touching on what it is, like where we sometimes think we can find that sense of safety and security, where it truly lies within us, and some of the practices that we can use to kind of help cultivate these feelings within our everyday lives. So yeah, let's dive in. Let's get started.
So, what do we mistakenly uh, rely on safety and security, and why is that approach flawed? Right. So,
Yeah.
what is it?
So I feel like a lot of times we look at the like external factors, the things that we see in the world outside us, things that we see that others are doing. So, and we kind of project that out there. So things like a good job, a house,
Mhm.
all those external sources, like you need a fancy car, you need to have investments, you need to have like all of these external things, you need to to feel safe, to be secure. And the problem comes from, it's like, great, you can have all of these things, but these things always have the possibility and the tendency of going away, right? So we can
Mhm.
we rely on other people. And sometimes in our lives we can't avoid that, right? So when we're young, we rely on our parents, we rely on our
Right.
families, we rely on people to keep us safe. But at some point we kind of need to learn for ourselves what makes us feel safe and secure, what
Mhm.
things are important to us, and we need to feel like we can go after them
Mhm.
and achieve those things to build that confidence within within ourselves. So it's great to have those things to kind of build that sense, but you have to be able to handle situations maybe when those things aren't there for you. Maybe there's not someone to help you get through that problem. There may be a time where you don't have that job, or the income from that job isn't what it used to be.
Right.
Then you have to then kind of rely on yourself to find a way to face those challenges. And
Right.
that's why it can be very difficult to, like, if you just expect those external things to be there for you, there are always times when they're just not going to be there for you. And what's left is you and your ability to deal with the situations in your life.
Right. So, how can you cultivate inner security, providing a more stable foundation? So, how do you create that?
So, yeah, and this is I mean, this is it can be difficult sometimes because if you're not in an environment where you saw people dealing with this and doing this all the time,
Mhm.
you don't always pick up on those cues.
Right.
And it's kind of important to get in touch with yourself and to know number one what it is that you want and need in your life to feel safe
Right.
and secure. It's not the same for everyone. So getting in touch with, yourself, what you feel that you need and what is important in your life is one of the biggest factors. So
I would trusting yourself, right? To be able to trust
absolutely.
yourself to like
And
problem solve.
yeah, and yeah, so inner security fosters resilience and a lasting sense of well-being independent of external circumstances. So yeah, you need to know yourself, you need to
Hmm.
trust yourself. And this is an area where if you're falling short in this, you may need to like look into, okay, where am I falling short? What is it like that I'm having trouble meeting?
Right.
And what can I do to improve that so I can be more independent?
Right. Yeah. That I mean that makes complete sense. And then to be like innovative, like if you need to change something, like to be able to pivot, right? Be confident in your in
Yeah,
being able to.
absolutely. So I'm actually gonna share something. I've got a daughter that's still in college, and we come to time where she's like, "Okay, this is what's happening. How do I fix this?"
Hmm.
And I'm like, "Okay, well, we're gonna have a conversation about what your options are,
Right.
and then you're gonna choose and follow through."
Right.
And that's kind of how I'm trying to help her develop that for herself. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, I'm here. I'm gonna give you options. I'm not gonna fix anything for you. I am not going to tell you exactly what to do because I don't know exactly what to do. But what
Right.
I can do is say, "Hey, here are the options that I can think of. You can research some other options on your own,
Hmm.
but like here's a start. Start looking into these things, see what's appealing to you,
Right.
and then you're going to need to make a decision based on all the information that you've gathered."
Right.
I think that's a good thing for any of us to do is like, okay, look at the situation, look at what your options are. If you can't, come up with options on your own, then okay, that's when a community comes into play. Go to your friends, go to
Right.
your family, ask for some examples and advice, but then take action for yourself. And that's a big part of it is like taking those steps to
Yeah.
look for the information you need to make those decisions.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, you talked a little bit about mindfulness playing a part in the
Mhm.
development. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Like how you work through that mindfulness and calm?
So, absolutely, yeah. I think noticing again, being aware of what it is that you need
Hmm.
is the first step before you're solving any problem and creating any kind of sense of safety and security. You need to know what it is you want and what it is you need to feel those feelings.
Right. Yeah.
So when you're mindful and you're paying attention, you're looking for all those signs and signals for what it is that you need in your life to feel that. Like, is it like, do you need that great big job that pays like X amount of dollars? Or
Hmm.
is it that you need a job that you love, that makes you feel fulfilled and
Right.
can simply pay the bills and allow you, to go out to the movies once a week, or to grab that drink with your friend, or like maybe
Right.
you really need you're someone who loves having a big community around you and you like to have, friends to talk to and family to rely on. And that's really it comes down to that. So mindfulness is in the sense that you're being present, you're noticing what your feelings are and
Right.
connecting to what it is that you want out of life and what it is that makes you feel safe and secure. Like maybe like again, like I said, maybe it's that big job, maybe you need to make a lot of money. Maybe you want more people in your life. Maybe you want to foster better relationships. And it's that awareness and just
Right.
honing in on that and being like, okay, this is what makes me feel good. Like, this is
Like soul
where I
searching.
feel, yeah, this is where I feel safest. And, if you're not sure how to do that, like, I love the simple exercise of just sitting quietly, closing your eyes, and saying, what do I need?
Right.
And whenever you ask that question, it's amazing. I don't know how many times I've done this where I'm like, sometimes I'm even afraid, like, what if I don't get an answer? I've never not gotten an answer. Like,
Like your brain
always
usually always delivers.
it really does. Like, when you ask a question, and be careful how you ask that question, because if you ask, like, why am I so upset? Why can't I ever have the things that I need? Your brain will tell you why you can't ever. But if you ask, what is it that makes me feel safe and secure? What is it
Mhm.
that makes me feel the best in my life? Like, what makes me feel like I can, accomplish what I want to accomplish? What makes me feel like, I can thrive, I can be independent? You'll get
Yeah.
those answers. And I
That
think
is-
that's why that part of mindfulness, you can meditate on it, you can do that, but you can just simply ask yourself those questions and
mhm.
pay attention to the answers that you get, because you'll always get an answer.
I like to ask those questions and then journal, because those are really good to look back on and see how you overcame certain things. And so when we look back on things and then we see how we overcame them, it gives us a sense of confidence that
Absolutely.
we problem solved. We moved past this issue. And so it's really, for me, it's really important to be able to see that development of me being stuck somewhere and actually being able to change the outcome by journaling it out. And then I look at the journal after we're through it and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, these are all the thoughts that were going through my head. And like, I made myself really upset over nothing,
Yeah, it's
or
so funny, like, when you get all the way through it and you're like,
yes,
"Oh."
yeah. Oh my God, check that out. Right. um, how does practicing gratitude enhance our sense of security?
So it's pretty funny because I
Mhm.
also kind of touched on what you just said, like, in the notes here. So gratitude, right? It shifts our focus from fear to abundance. It reinforces our mindset um, of stability and inner security. So noticing what you already have in life can be a huge comfort. All right. We often feel more capable when we recognize what we've already accomplished.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
when you look back and you said, hey, I faced this
Yep.
and I came through it. Like, I was able to make the right decisions. I was able to take the steps I needed to take
Hmm.
to solve this problem and to come out on the other end of it. And even if it didn't work out perfectly and you made mistakes along the way, like, you obviously learned something
Right.
from that and were able to get through it. And I think another point that I didn't like jot down, but I want to make is celebrate those wins.
Oh, absolutely.
Celebrating those wins when do you hit that achievement, you
Yeah.
reach that accomplishment, is going to also help kind of trigger those feelings of safety and security, because you're like, hey, I did this, and you're reminding yourself, hey, I did this. So next time you get upset or worried that something is going to happen, how am I going to handle this? You can kind of go back to, like, hey, remember that time this happened
Hmm.
and I did that.
Right.
So it just, that little reminder to be like, to really kind of cheer yourself on and celebrate those accomplishments.
Perfect.
Be grateful for everything you've done.
Yeah, totally. Um, and know that we all go through it, right?
Absolutely.
It's not just you going through it. Like everybody goes through this. Everybody has some kind of insecurity about something, right? So that's pretty normal and common. So I know some people are like, "Oh, it's only me," and it's like, no, we all go through it. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise. What what physical activities support internal safety and security and grounding?
Okay, so there's so many. Yoga always comes to mind. Anything where you're Tai Chi,
Hmm.
Pilates, but any exercise, any physical activity where you are bringing awareness to the present moment. So when we're in the present moment, we are grounded. We're always safe, right where,
Hmm.
right where we are in the present moment. And it's a really great feeling. So when you're out in nature taking a walk, if you're just, going out for a run, any kind of, like I said, just mindfulness activity where you're linking your body, your mind, your breath, all of those things are coming together.
Hmm.
It really gives you like a sense of presence, a sense of grounding, and a sense of security. It's a great way to clear your mind too, and sometimes get through those mental blocks when you
Right.
don't know what it is you want to do. Getting out and moving your body can just kind of bring some clarity and awareness to what's going on, keep you kind of focused in the present moment and away from like the fear of repeating what happened in the past and the scariness of like what might happen in the future. So like physical activity is really great for keeping you grounded in your body in the present moment.
Awesome. And then why is emotional awareness critical for internal safety?
Okay, so we need to know what we want. Like or what we're feeling.
Right.
That's crucial. We need to understand ourselves. We need to know what we feel,
Hmm.
maybe explore why it is we're feeling that and what it is we need. And when we can be aware of that, it makes it much easier to go after what it is we want. So once
Right.
we're aware of like what our needs are, we can make an action plan. We can take steps to move towards what it is we want. And that clarity, just when you have that clarity, I mean that's it, right? That's what you're looking
Yeah,
for. You feel
totally.
safe, you feel secure because you know what it is you want and you need.
Right. And then how do relationships contribute to our sense of security?
Okay, so obviously having good healthy relationships where we feel safe to speak our minds, to, speak our truth, to let others know how we're feeling and to be able to share that. When we have that, it just kind of feeds on itself, right? So you've got that community. I have a safe space. I can tell someone how I feel. I can say what it is that I need and I'm safe. I'm not being judged here.
Right.
And you may need to be a little bit selective of who you're spending your time with and notice when you're with people who are not supporting you or maybe being judgmental, and you may want to move away from those relationships and try to work on relationships and stay within like a group of friends and family that support you
Right.
and your thoughts, your feelings, and make you feel validated,
I think it
basically.
goes back to also like when we were talking about self, being aware of yourself and everything like that. It goes back to the trusting,
Absolutely.
right? Trusting the people around you, trusting yourself around the people around you,
Yeah.
right? And being super comfortable with all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's funny, like, because sometimes without that base, without that understanding, if you don't know what it is to feel those feelings, like if you don't have those
Hmm.
type of relationships, it can be kind of difficult. But for most of us, I would hope that you have at least one person in your life where
Yeah, totally.
you feel that you can be that way with. And when you notice that feeling, it's easier to spot other people that maybe kind of give you the same feeling in that way. If that's not happening at all in your life, I definitely say then, seek help.
Hmm.
Like look for someone like a therapist, someone that look for someone that you can trust
Right,
to talk things through with so that you can find out what it is that you need and then to, seek that out.
right. What is the impact of spiritual practice on internal security?
All right, so I feel like that's going to be a little bit different for everyone, but I
Mhm.
feel like when we have that feeling of connection,
Right,
like just that we're social creatures. So when we feel connected to others, a higher power, our higher self even, like when we have that feeling of deep connection, we tend to feel safe. We
right,
feel secure. And for a lot of people, like that connection to a higher power really makes them feel like they're never alone. There's
right,
always, the universe has your back. God has your back. There's always someone in your corner rooting for you.
Right.
And that can really give a lot of people the strength and the courage that they need to take the actions that they need to
Yeah.
to move forward in their life. Excuse me.
For a lot of people, faith is a sense of security, right?
Absolutely.
Their faith, the stronger their faith is, the stronger they feel they are, and the more grounded they feel they are, right?
Absolutely.
How can we work with the root chakra, enhancing our sense of safety?
Root chakra is where we feel grounded, where we feel connected to the earth. And working with that can help to foster a sense of safety and security. Anytime, again, I'll have you explain why it's more the root chakra. Anytime that we are in the present moment, focused on where we are in space, what we're doing, feeling that connection to ourselves, it's going to bring a sense of safety.
Right.
Because safety is always peace, safety, love. They're always in the present moment.
Right.
They're not in the past. They're not in the future. Everything we need is right here, right now. So, I mean, and that's for all, chakra work, grounded
Yes.
mindfulness activities. But I'll let you give a little blurb on, what the root chakra is and why it's important to work on that one specifically for feelings of safety and security.
So your root chakra is your safety and your security, right? When your root chakra is overactive, when you have an overactive root chakra, you are thinking of all the things that could possibly go wrong in the safety and security. Also, sometimes that root chakra, if it's overactive, you can be overconfident and really not think through what is true safety and security. Maybe you're a little too confident and a little careless, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's underactive, you're fearful. Fearful of everything. You can have enough money in the bank and still be fearful that tomorrow you're going to lose it. You can do everything right at work and be fearful that your job's not secure. And so it's super important for us to ground down those energies. And we ground down those energies by walking outside, putting our feet in the dirt, sitting tall, grounding down the tailbone, lengthening the spine, really activating the body, taking deep breaths. Ujjayi breath work is really good. And so really to get you, like you said, into that present moment. So you are not somewhere else when you should be here. Right. And so when we're looking at like true safety and security of that root chakra, we are looking at the moment that we are in, not the what ifs and not the what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We're looking at the here and now. So to be grounded and tethered to like what is going on at this moment.
Absolutely.
So as we move on, what advice would you give to someone who feels insecure despite external stability?
So, and that's again, so great. So root chakra work is definitely something you want to do. So might want to have them find the things that like make them feel calm, right? So s- they may need to spend some time away from work because even though they might have this great job with all of this money, it's causing stress
Right.
and anxiety and worry about like, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? And then you're spending all that time making money to support your family, but then not spending time with your family. And then you're
Right.
feeling guilty that you're not doing.
Lack of
So
balance.
it really is. And you want to have someone check in with themselves and say, okay, well, first of all, you're going to look at that the balance in your life because it might be something completely different. They might be then not fulfilling the work end of things, but maybe they're like at home all the time with their family and someone else is being the breadwinner. So what you really want to do is if you have everything you need to be stable, but you're still not feeling that stability, you kind of really need to take a minute and look at what your priorities are. Look at what it is you feel like you're missing in your life,
Mm-hmm.
what it is that you feel that you need to feel better, to feel grounded and safe and secure. And sometimes it's just the smallest things, and it's just taking that time for yourself to
Right.
do something that you've been putting off.
Yeah.
So if you're, at home with your family all the time and you're giving all your time to them, maybe you need to explore career options. Maybe
Hmm.
if you're working all the time, you need to take a break and maybe go for more walks,
Right.
take a
Fact
yoga
find.
class.
Fact.
Absolutely. So you want to
Yeah.
just look into, but even just take the time to be mindful. Take a
Yes.
few minutes for yourself and ask yourself the questions. What is it that I'm looking for? Like, I'm
Right.
feeling empty in this way. Like, I'm feeling afraid that I might lose like all of the things that I've gained. What is it that I need? Um,
Right.
and they might want to look into mindfulness practices. They might want to look into just fulfilling some sort of dream that they've had that they want to accomplish. And sometimes it's just the smallest things to get us started,
Hmm.
to really make us feel like, we're connected to ourselves. And I think that's the biggest struggle with feeling safe and secure, is
Right.
just really feeling detached from who we are and
Hmm.
what it is that we want. And when we can ask ourselves, what those things are and be able to answer it, we can start to take those steps towards really making ourselves feel safe, secure, and fulfilled in our lives.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Um, so I mean, to
I think
to
that
really
wraps
wrap up
it.
the episode, right?
Mhm.
We're looking at, being mindful, which we talk about all the time. So
Yeah,
being mindful, being present, really soul searching yourself
absolutely.
to know what makes you feel safe and secure, to know what you really want for that structure of safety and security. And then also making sure that you have a good tribe around you, good people, good work environment, good everything, and know that everything's not going to fall in place all at once. And that's not how life constantly stays, right? It's very ebb
No,
and
small
flow.
steps. I mean, that's the thing, is
Right.
once you know what it is you want, you need to take action, and small actions, like, over time, really build up to create lasting change.
Absolutely. And yeah, and if you have any questions, reach out to us. We're more than happy to answer them if we can. And leave comments and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, we're
So
really happy to, like, answer, help you find, what it is that you might be looking for, point you in the right direction,
yes, awesome.
so reach out.
Yeah. So thank you. And until next time,
Feel safe and secure.
yes, bye.
Thanks for listening to Friendship, Wellness, and Wisdom. Don't forget to subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on social media for more updates. See you next time.